All right, Shalom. I want to start off as always, man, by giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakha HaKodash. The honors unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love unto the brothers out there doing his work in truth and sincerity. And I also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And in this morning's lesson, I wanted to pretty much speak about the Nottoway plantation that caught on fire the other day down in Louisiana. And according, to the records, man, the Edomite family that owned that plantation were one of the wealthiest families in the South during the time when Jake was enslaved. And according to the history, the son who came down to Louisiana, he was a part of a wealthy Edomite family that was in Virginia, okay, who owned slaves. So he knew all about the business of owning enslaved people and how to, go about things and whatnot with a business. And so he came down to Louisiana, and this man said he owned about 150 plus slaves. And also, according to the history, they say that he boosts his family wealth by, 5 times. Yeah, they say he boosts his family wealth about 5 times more because he chose to have sugar plantations instead of a cotton plantation. And with having a sugar plantation, man, all right, with the sugar canes, um, that was way more brutal than picking cotton, okay? Picking cotton wasn't as brutal, because you could just pick the, cotton from the plants. But with the sugar cane plantation, you had to use a damn, let's say a machete, so to speak, to cut down those sugar plants and then boil them and all that, to get the sugar out of them. I mean, a brutal process. And they said that the life expectancy of Jake, who was picking that sugar, man, was very low. Okay, very low. It was brutal, and they were working Jake to the death. But they knew that if they could get the sugar cane, that they could get more wealthy and just buy more slaves, so-called. And there was an ongoing process, and this family, I forget the name of the guy right now, but they was, hey, look, bro, they was balling, okay? They were balling. But that house caught on fire, man. It was a tourist spot, they had, weddings and all that stuff there, glorifying it pretty much. But the Lord burnt it down, man, okay? And I actually ran into a woman yesterday at work, and she asked me about that, as I was, working on her appliances. She asked me, she said, did you see that plantation burn down? I was like, yes, ma'am. I saw it on TikTok. She was like, yeah, she said the ancestors are getting their lick back. And I try not to laugh, but I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, they sure is, man. But ain't no, bro. Come on, man. But I get, Jake, that's their understanding of, spirituality and whatnot. But ain't no ancestors come back and burn burn no plantation down, man. Okay. Those those spirits been in the heavens, okay? Or maybe some of them have come back and reincarnated, but that, however it burnt down, the Lord has something to do with it, okay? But I just take that sign as Esau falling, okay? Because there is no way in the hell Esau just allowed that plantation to be burnt down, okay? Bro, the Lord had something to do with that. Esau glorified them, bro. Esau glorified them damn plantation houses, okay? It's a lot of them in Mississippi, a whole lot in Mississippi. Okay. Matter of fact, I think one of the biggest slave houses is in Mississippi, bro. I forget the name of it, but it's close to the hold up. It's close to the Mississippi River. And because it was close to the Mississippi River, they were able, to get more slaves and get certain resources and material, man. And them pillars that's on that house in Mississippi, bro, are huge, okay? And they were built by enslaved Jakes. Just like the house that's burnt down in Louisiana, bro. Jake built that house from scratch. These so-called dumb, uneducated slaves built that house with precision, bro. These dumb slaves, right? And see, Esau put out that narrative as if, Jake is just so dumb and stupid that, he can't do anything. Matter of fact, they had scientific studies on the books saying that Jake was too inept to do the basic things in life. Meaning speak or think or just do a basic task. This is how they presented Jake to the world. And these narratives are still being pushed, man. And this is why when Jake so-called graduate or achieve something in this world, they gotta pretty much make a show of it, right? To show that, hey, look, I'm not dumb. I can graduate college. I can do this. I can do that. Brother, that all stem back from slavery, man. Trying to show the world, hey, look, I can do something, man. But we all know that Jake isn't bugged out. I mean, as in, Jake can't think or anything. How in the hell Babylon got built? It was because of the so-called black man and his slave labor. That's how Esau got rich. Well, guess what? When we get you in the kingdom, Esau, we're going to be rich off your slave labor. And we're going to have slave plantations and big old slave houses, right? Like on Jago Unchained, they had Candyland, they had Candyland. Well, it's going to be the same thing when we get to kingdom, bro. It's going to be a big old house with a bunch of slaves, thousands of you, okay? Thousands of you working. Sun up to sundown, working. Can't see morning, can't see night. You're going to be in slavery, man. These are facts, okay? These are facts. And it's scriptural. And this is something that the Christian church or you Christians don't want to deal with. Is that the so-called Negroes whom you enslaved, right? So-called Latinos, so-called Native American Indians, whom you enslaved, are going to get their lick back. And it's going to be done on a level never seen before, okay? They talk about the Persian Empire and how many, slaves they had and workers they had. They ain't going to be nothing compared to what we're going to have, okay? Now, the Persian Empire, they was balling, right? Xerxes, who is spoken about in the scriptures in the book of Esther, okay? This man owned 127 provinces or 127 states. Can you just imagine the amount of resources he had access to, the amount of, slaves he had access to, women, gold, I mean, everything, okay? Man had access to everything. But that's nothing compared to what we're going to have in the kingdom of heaven, man, all right? So going to Isaiah 60 and 10, then I agree to close out. Isaiah 60 verse 10 says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. So the Lord, right, he smote us in his wrath, But in his favor, he's going to have mercy on us. And he said, the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, meaning our houses, our palaces, our everything. Okay? You're going to build it from scratch. Hard labor. Okay? Hard labor, man. It's going to be brutal. And you're going to, I mean, bro, you can imagine, bro. You can only imagine, okay, how beautiful the kingdom of heaven is going to be, man. How beautiful brothers' houses and, possessions is going to be. It's going to be mind-blowing, okay? They're glorifying Esau plantation homes, that's been up for 200 plus years. Okay, these houses been up 200 plus years, man. They keep them up to date, they got everything clean and, polished, and these houses are glorified. So how much more in the kingdom of heaven, man? The Lord said that the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. So guess what? Y'all gonna build everything for us, man. To my big houses, okay? It took 13 years to build King Solomon's house. 13 years to build one house, okay? That's brother, that's crazy. That's crazy, bro. 13 years to build one house. So imagine the kingdom, bro. Okay, but we're gonna have more slaves. So it won't take 13 years, right? It won't take 13 years. We're gonna have a bunch of slave labor, and they're gonna build, okay, from scratch. It says, therefore, verse 11, therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. And in my margin here, for the word forces, it says wealth. So our gate's going to be open all the time. And people will be bringing us gifts from all around the world, man. Gold, I mean, all kind of frankincense and myrrh and smells and fruits and vegetables. I mean, all kinds of things as offerings and gifts. Okay? It's going to be lovely. It says, for the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So if you so-called refuse to serve us, so-called, which I highly doubt, but if you so-called refuse, then you will be slaughtered. Okay? Just as you did unto Jake in slavery. The Jakes who rebelled, you try to make examples of them. You did make examples of them. Okay? With hard torture. Right? Brutal stuff. But we're gonna outdo you in that category of torture and mayhem. And just complete agony. Okay, we're gonna have you in those situations, stressful situations. But the beatings will be unimaginable in the kingdom of heaven for you devils. Okay? The severe beatings, man. Thus said the Lord. It says, for the glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. What's the place of the Lord's feet? The earth. So the planet Earth is going to be beautiful again, man. And delivered from under your oppression, Esau. You have destroyed a great portion of the earth, man. Where people live at, you destroyed it. Okay? You doubles, man. Y'all build contrary to nature. And this is why these storms and disasters be eating y'all behinds up. You build houses right there in a tornado alley. And every year them tornadoes come through and rip you niggas apart. You fools. But see, if you would have paid attention to what Gad was doing, okay, Gad knew to move around and not just sit there in Tornado Alley, man. You fools. Just right now in Kentucky, you had 9 people to be unalived by a tornado, man. Because you build right there where the tornadoes be landing at. You fool. You damn fools. But see, Gad knew to move around. Gad knew, okay, storm, okay, boom, move around. These hurricanes were coming down here in Texas. All right. Northern Kingdom knew to move around, right? So-called Mexicans. They knew, okay, let's move around. All right, storms coming, let's move around. But you idiots build right there where the storm's at. And people begin swallowed up and destroyed. Okay? But it's the Lord's judgment, man. But in the kingdom of heaven, the earth will be beautified, trees everywhere. I mean, it's going to be lovely. And we're going to build with nature, okay? Not against nature. We're going to build, with the fountain, the waterfall. We're going to have everything floating beautiful and won't throw off the ecosystem like you devils do. Displacing animals, Weird, man. It says, the sons also of them that afflict thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow down themselves at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. So in the kingdom, we're going to be blessed, man. All right? And you devils are going to build it up from scratch. And our house is going to be around for eternity. Okay? We're going to have multiple houses. Right? Multiple houses, man. So with that, I want to close out, Lord, with those edifying, man. Shalom.